What you're going to hear this video is going to surprise you. It honestly is already surprising me, but honestly not so much, because what the Lakers have done this season is nothing short of spectacular. You guys heard me talk about the Los Angeles Lakers and their accomplishments in my last Anthony Davis video, and how I talked about the Lakers winning and having this culture and this chemistry. Well, check this out. The attraction of big-time free agents and players in general, players still under contract, may have already started. What if I told you guys that there is evidence, very real evidence, that points to the Los Angeles Lakers getting Bradley Beal and Chris Paul this offseason? No, this is not an early bid for my rebuild channel. This is legit basketball news, and regardless of how ridiculous it may sound, there is substance behind what I'm saying. Let's flash all the way back to January 15th, 2020. The Wizards lose a game against the Chicago Bulls. For those of you that may not have known, the Bulls this season were not a very good team. Neither were the Washington Wizards, but regardless, the Washington Wizards lose to the Bulls. Bradley Beal says this loss hits harder than usual. He says he doesn't like losing, especially winnable games. When Beal was asked if the losing builds up, he said, "Yeah, I would hope it does. I don't like losing." And check this out. Everything that I just said, that's not even the best part. That's just the start of what's to come. Before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You will not want to miss another Getlikecoop video, and that's facts. If you guys could do me a giant favor right now, drop a like on this video. It tells me and YouTube that you guys enjoy my content, and it helps me grow. I appreciate that so much, guys. Much respect. Also, be sure to check out my stream and my NFL channel. The links to those will be in the description below. I'm amazing at 2K80 win percentage. I'm actually pretty good, so you guys will not want to miss a stream or NFL video. We've got a ton of Lakers news to cover in this video, but before we go any further, I would like to know down in the comments below if you guys prefer Bradley Beal or Chris Paul coming to the Los Angeles Lakers. If you had to pick one player, I think the choice is obvious, but at the same time, it could be all the more difficult. Let me know who you guys would want down in the comments below. I'll announce who I would like at the end of the video. Now that we got that out of the way, let's talk Los Angeles Lakers. Let's talk the offseason. I admire the Golden State Warriors for many reasons. One of the reasons I admire them is they were never satisfied just winning one championship. This was a team always looking to get better. And now if you ask Stephen A. Smith, he'll tell you that the Golden State Warriors are possibly the Lakers' biggest problem coming into next season.
It will be the Golden State Warriors standing in the way of the Los Angeles Lakers. With Klay Thompson and Steph Curry coming back, they've got a top pick in the draft.
Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and a high-level draft pick. That could be incredibly dangerous. Also, they have the potential to trade that pick to get another high-level player. Now, I'm sure the Los Angeles Lakers know this, and this is why they're already looking to improve. Not just improve, but possibly lock up some of their key role players from last season, or this season more so. Now, you guys know Rajon Rondo is opting out. You can't really blame Rondo for this move. We see it all the time. He wins a championship. He's a key piece to the Lakers championship. I don't really care what anybody says. I thought Rondo was playing at a very, very high level out there, a much higher level than a lot of players around him. You can tell from his energy that he was locked in. Playoff Rondo is a very real thing, but at times I do feel like the Playoff Rondo name is sort of disrespectful because he's a great player all around. It's not just the playoffs. It's just in the playoffs, he has the ability that few players have to take their game to an entirely different level. If the Clippers have a playmaker like Rajon Rondo, who knows what happens in the playoffs this season or next? A lot of people are going to think I'm overrating Rajon Rondo, but I watched him glue together a New Orleans team that, if you ask me, was very dysfunctional. A lot of people give Gentry the credit for the Pelicans making the run they did when Boogie went down, but I think a lot of it was on Rajon Rondo. He was like a coach on the basketball floor, not just a coach, he was a true floor general, getting players the ball in spaces where they can be successful. Having vocal leaders like this should not be slept on. Now, Rajon Rondo said he's going to entertain running it back, and of course he should. He says the Lakers were a great organization, he enjoyed the coaching staff, he enjoyed the players around him, and he thanks the organization for everything that they've given him. Right now, he's just going to enjoy the moment, and he should. Now next, KCP. KCP had some great spurts with the Lakers, and the sides have mutual interest on reaching a new agreement. As much crap as KCP has gotten, he has turned out to be a very good role player for the Los Angeles Lakers. And as a matter of fact, LA holds KCP's bird rights. Speaking of great role players for the Los Angeles Lakers, perhaps Dwight Howard should also be somebody who should consider re-signing with the Lakers when the time does come. It has been reported that the Warriors have interest in signing Dwight Howard in free agency, but of course, the Lakers and Dwight have mutual interest in a deal. Dwight Howard to Golden State would be absolutely bonkers because Golden State has a system in which Dwight could definitely thrive in the role he played with the Lakers. That being said, Dwight in Los Angeles to me is already bonkers. I would love to see him run it back with this Lakers team. So before we start talking about Kuzma possibly getting traded, let's talk about Anthony Davis re-signing. Anthony Davis plans to opt out of his $28.7 million player option and re-sign with the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, in my last Los Angeles Lakers Anthony Davis video, I told you guys that I expected AD to resign, and at the end of the video, I showed you a clip of him saying run it back, which pretty much meant he was re-signing. Now, the opt-out is more so about the contract options that he's going to be eligible for. And if you're interested in knowing about the contracts, I would suggest going back and watching my last Anthony Davis video on my channel. Now, Anthony Davis running it back with the Lakers makes the trade to LA more of a colossal W than it already is. At the end of the day, I think draft picks sometimes get overvalued. Draft picks are draft picks. Players like Anthony Davis are once in a generation type of talent. When you can go out and get a guy like Anthony Davis, I think you have to do it. Now, I know there was some commotion about the Lakers giving up a lot, but I mean, look at what they got back. They have a guy that could arguably be the best player in the NBA at one point. And I think the whole league is starting to take notice of that. Now, here's where things get fun. And I'm talking about like scary fun. Reportedly, the trade market will be extremely active for the Lakers if they decide to explore trading Kyle Kuzma, The Athletic reports. The Athletic, very official. And Kyle Kuzma, I'm surprised he's made it this far with the Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, from his trainer pretty much trying to start a beef with LeBron, to the chemistry issues, to the questionable fit, and the simple fact that you could trade him, package some more picks and assets, and get a player that fits your system, fits what you want to do much better. Honestly, again, amazing to me that he's lasted this long in LA. Okay, so say the Lakers are okay with trading Kyle Kuzma. Reportedly, the Thunder are in the market to flip Chris Paul only if draft picks or young players are coming back. The Lakers have young players, they have draft picks, and they can trade players to acquire more draft picks. Now, Chris Paul is a phenomenal player, was amazing last season, an all-star in his own right, but he's not getting any younger, and I'm not sure how many teams are willing to take on that contract. Chris Paul in Los Angeles makes all of the sense. He wants to win a championship. He's very good friends with LeBron. Him and Anthony Davis would be ridiculous. It would probably be some of the most high-level basketball we could possibly watch. Could you imagine Chris Paul creating for not only Anthony Davis, but LeBron James? Chris Paul would make both of their lives easier. He steps up in the playoffs, and LeBron would not have to carry as much of a load during the regular season. Getting those easy baskets, having another ball handler makes things so much better. And of course, things would work the same for Chris Paul. AD, LeBron, make his life easier. Now, reportedly, Chris Paul would love to come back to LA. Reportedly, it would be a dream come true for Chris. He loves LeBron and trusts him, and he would be a great fit. But the rumors, the possibilities don't just end with Chris Paul. Bradley Beal could possibly end up in LA. Earlier this season, Bradley Beal agreed with and quoted this JJ Redick infographic saying that players are more concerned with social media than they are about winning or losing a game of basketball. Now, Bradley Beal has a lot of young teammates who are very active on social media. Some people believe this could have been a shot at some of his Wizards teammates. Me, I'm not so sure. But of course, the Bradley Beal to Los Angeles news goes much deeper than that. Beal's wife went ahead to like this video that had Snoop Dogg and Shannon Sharp talking about Beal possibly coming to the Lakers. Play the video.
Hey, you know Bradley Beal just moved to LA, huh?
Oh! You remember that?
Yeah.
If we get Bradley Beal, it's over for the next 3 years.
She also quoted it, and you can see what she put on the screen. But at the same time, at the very least, she's entertaining the thought. And we know Bradley Beal wants to win. If the Lakers got Bradley Beal, this team, unbeatable. Bradley Beal's like a 30-point per game scorer. He can do everything on the basketball floor in terms of scoring. He can score in many different ways. Offensively, he's the complete package, and on a contender, he's going to be a competent defender at worst. In the comments, let me know how many shooting guards you can name that are actually better than Bradley Beal. Be sure to click the video on the screen right now. Be sure to subscribe. I'm Getlikecoop, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.